the career of Hendo, now the retirement's official. Some thoughts on him, sir?
I agree entirely that it was Bisping's fight. It was 3-2 in my opinion, 40-47 in my opinion as well. Now, if you take out the two knockdowns, Henderson didn't really do anything other than survive. Bisping sort of, he didn't, in my opinion, he didn't look as if he was looking for the knockout too often. He was looking to score points, in my opinion. He wanted in, hit him a few times, back out, try and dodge that right hand, and I did expect him to learn his lesson the first the first time, but he didn't. He got caught, but fair play. This time he got back up. He survived that sort of initial flurry in the first round. That's it, done the damage to his face. He got back up and fought on. So you've got to take your hat off to him. But overall, he deserved to win the fight. It was 3-2, and good on him. I think it's important for a champion to go and defend the belt. You hear that a lot. You hear guys saying you don't feel like a champion until you've defended that belt. He's done that now. He's done it in front of his hometown, family, friends a lot. So that's as good as it'll ever get for him, I think. And Henderson, what a guy. Absolute Hall of Famer. He is probably, often when I speak to my friends that don't really watch MMA, but I speak about Henderson and say this guy is probably one of the toughest guys that's ever walked the earth. He is just an absolute out-and-out fighter, and what a career he's had. Champion everywhere apart from the UFC. It's a shame he never ever got that UFC belt, because it would have been, he would have deserved that for the career that he's had. But what a competitor, what a fighter, absolute top class.
Yeah, man's a legend. Finally, Bob, your thoughts. You get the final say, sir, on Bisping Hendo 2, and some thoughts, if you please, for Dan Henderson. Some highlights as well, sir.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be the outlier here on the panel with this one. I thought that Henderson won the fight. I thought I gave him round one. Whether or not it was a 10-8 round is debatable, but he clearly won that first round, obviously, with nearly finishing Michael Bisping, and you could have made the argument that it would have been a 10-8 round. The second round I also gave to Henderson, because of, again, he knocked him down, was less closer to finishing him in the second round than he was in the first round, but nonetheless, I thought he won that round. Rounds 3 and 4 were debatable, but Bisping was more active. You look at the punch stats, striking stats, for the fight overall, Bisping clearly was more active. But, one astute Sirius XM host said, Dan, Michael Bisping may have won an MMA contest. Dan Henderson won a fight. And I think that, a lot of people out there would agree with those sentiments. Bisping was more active. But I thought in round 4 and 5 it was fairly close. I mean, I thought Henderson was more active, was a little bit more aggressive, particularly in round 5. And I thought that was enough to give him the fight. It could be considered a controversial decision. I think it will be, but in the grand scheme of things, with all MMA decisions out there, it's not the most controversial. It's not like a complete robbery. I mean, you could have given it to Bisping. You could have given it to Henderson. I think it just depends on how you weight each individual aspect of the fight. More striking versus more damage, octagon control, the different judging criteria out there. So, I wasn't too terribly disappointed. I was a little bit disappointed because, like I said, I thought Henderson won the fight. As far as Henderson, what else can you say about the guy? I mean, he's just such a class act, such a great representation of the sport, winning belts in multiple organizations, defying the odds at the age of 46 and going out there and fighting what now it can be considered the best in the division, Michael Bisping. You really can't say enough about him. And I'll throw some credit at Bisping's direction. I mean, this has been a great year for Michael Bisping. Certainly candidate for 2016 Fighter of the Year. Doing all he did, fighting the most UFC wins of anybody. You can't take anything away from Michael Bisping. I don't like his his attitude sometimes. I mean, the way he comes across and some of the ththings he says. But that's Michael Bisping. Can't take anything away from him. And I think certainly he's going to be a strong candidate for UFC Hall of Famer.
Well said, sir. Guys, let's move on to the final part of the show where we answer some fan questions from our social media channels. And remember, guys, you don't have to wait your turn. I just fire the questions at you and you guys respond. So, gentlemen, if you're all ready, I'll start with some questions that came in on our Twitter, starting with at UFCW Paul, who tweets, UK fans on US time zones doesn't seem right. What's your thoughts? So it sounds like Paul is curious as to how we found staying up to the wee hours here in the UK. I guess it's just more of the same, but maybe it would have been nice to have one big show at a reasonable hour here this side of the pond. But what did the panel think?
I thought actually being there, it was horrendous. I mean, it's. I don't get why we have to put up with having our time zone moved just for another country's fans. They don't do it in other countries. Why should we have to do it? It did make it a lot harder to watch. I mean, it's still a great show. Still loved every minute of it, but it did make it a lot harder to keep up with it, staying up till that time in your home country to watch something. But, yeah, I was a bit bitter about it, especially at 6 a.m.
Yeah, I'll echo those sentiments. I originally planned to go to it, but once I found out that it was going to be the sort of 3 a.m. start for the main card, I chose against it because I just knew it was going to be a nightmare, and I thought, no, I'm not going to bother with that. I will watch it in the morning. You know, I can understand why they did it. It's a the UFC followed by the numbers is a pay-per-view event. It always has been, but and they need to get the money in. But it was a one-off, surely a one-off. Guy defending his belt in Manchester in his own hometown. You know, let the guys turn up and let them turn up a reasonable hour. Because what I was worried about was, the fight starting at 11. I think the last entry was 2 a.m. in the morning. So what happens there is folk go to the pub, they start drinking beer. They go to a nightclub, turn up later on, maybe a bit tipsy, maybe. So you never know what can happen.
Yes.
I'm trying to dance around about this, but you never know. When people are drunk, anything can happen. But, so I didn't think it was a good idea, but it happened. So, and it's easier, it was a sellout in 6 minutes. So the fans didn't seem to be too bothered.
Oh no, it was absolutely rammed there.
Fair enough, guys. Well, let's move on to some more Twitter questions. At One Punch Fan tweets, I love Pickett. I think he gets tough matchmaking, but don't want to see him take another beating. Time to call it a day. It sounds like he's hurting, guys, but what do you think? Is it time for Brad Pickett to retire?
Yes. I do. As much as I love the guy, he's absolutely brilliant. He's a pioneer of MMA in Britain and the UK. He's absolutely top class. He's a gentleman as well. But he's lost 4 of his last 5 fights, and that, I don't know if you've seen that last night, but that sort of sequence of events that led to the submission triangle choke was an absolute joy to watch. Arguably should have been stopped after the initial flurry after he caught him with the elbow. Pickett felt his back, and another referee might have stopped it there. I'm glad he didn't in one sense, because we've seen some absolutely top class jiu-jitsu after that, and what a finish. But to answer the question, I think he should retire.
He's getting up there in age, obviously. Pushing 40 years old, I believe 38. I'm not sure I want to see him retire right away. I think that, if you look at some of his fights, when he fought Thomas Almeida was just an absolute wrecking machine, and still is. And he fought the fight and rocked Almeida, and then he loses, obviously. And, this fight, this was a great grappling clinic on the part of Yuri Alcantara. But I just think that the jury's still out. I think if he continues to lose in the fashion that he does, then he should give some sort of consideration to retirement.
I mean, I'd say consider it, but the losses he's had haven't been through him so much getting old and wearing what have you. They've been spectacular losses like that. The sequence, like Tom mentioned, that he got finished with, from the spinning elbow, the ground pound, and then the grappling exchange that led to the triangle choke, was, I mean, that would have finished most guys. So that's not necessarily an age thing. I mean, if the subject of getting cut from the UFC comes up, I'd say possibly then call it quits. But I'd love to see Brad have at least one more fight. I love Brad Pickett. I'm a massive Brad Pickett fan. But yeah, that finish was insane by Alcantara. That was a great finish.
Could it be that he's just sort of out his league now in the UFC, and he maybe could, rather than retire, he might not have a choice. He might be cut after this. You know, he's lost 4 of his last 5, and that's long. You know, other guys have been cut for half of that. He might get cut, and maybe he could go and back onto the sort of European scene, your Bama or ACB or Cage Warriors or something, and finish high. Yeah, that might be the best option.
Finish high and finish at home. Yeah, I think that would be a good shout. Guys, we're just a wee bit short on time, so I'll quickly move to the Facebook questions then. Starting with David McGinley, who comments by saying, "Hi guys, UFC 205 is stacked, possibly the best card ever, but what fights are you all looking forward to the most?"
Conor McGregor.
Without a doubt. It's got to be, right? I mean, the card is stacked from top to bottom, no doubt. From the early prelims, I mean, you name it. It's just a lot of those fights could headline any cards, but I mean, it's for everyone. Like Tom was saying, you know, or even Steve to the degree. But you've got the casuals, you've got people who aren't necessarily MMA fans. It's going to be Conor McGregor that gets you through the door, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to just draw people in from everywhere, especially in New York. That arena is going to be insane. But I'm just flicking through the card now, and from top to bottom, it is a great card. There is just a whole bunch of good fights on there. But yeah, like it is going to be Conor McGregor that draws everyone in. I'm personally looking forward to Cerrone and Gastelum. I think that would be a good fight. And Joanna Jędrzejczyk is again going to be a good fight. But yeah, Conor's going to be the draw on the card.
The thing about the McGregor fight is that every MMA, whether you like Conor McGregor or not, that doesn't matter in this fight, because what we've got is the chance of a UFC fighter making history. And if he wins that belt, he's got the 2 of them. It's the first time that's been done. So who doesn't want to witness a piece of history? We all do. So that's why that fight should be at the top of anybody's list to watch. It's got to be. But what a card. It is easily, comfortably the best card that the UFC have put on, even in the year that they had their 200th event. This is by far and away better in my opinion. But again, Cerrone, that's another fight to look forward to. That's like his bell for 13th fight in 2 years. You know, the guy's a machine. It's an absolute fight. He just does not quit.
Well, that's the time, guys. We're completely out of time, so we'll just wrap up by saying that UFC 204 certainly was an interesting event. All the best to Michael Bisping in his future, and kudos to Henderson on a great, fantastic Hall of Fame career. UFC 205 in New York promises to be something spectacular too. At this time, I'd like to thank my guests here today, my man with the plan, Steve Brigg. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Pleasure. I can't wait for episode 2.
Mr. Bob Carson of the Carson's Corner podcast, many thanks for your time, sir.
Great, had a good time, John. Thank you, everybody.
And of course, Tom Heffernan of the Daily Record, thank you again for your time, sir.
Thank you, John. Thanks, everybody. Pleasure anything.
Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at We Are MMA UK, and on Facebook at facebook.com/Mixed Martial Arts UK. And don't forget, On Top 2 is coming to Linwoods on X Arena with the full amateur show Friday, the 21st of October, and the next night full professional Saturday. Martial Arts Chat podcast will be covering the full show with a chance to win some tickets that weekend too. So until then, we'll be back same time next week. We're reacting to UFC in the Philippines, speaking to Stuart the He-Man Austin. Thanks very much for your time.
Sayonara, baby.